Do you see my screen coming up?
Oh yeah, Halloween. I watched them all, so you don't have to.
How about that, Nick? I just saved you a ton of time.
This is great. You're already providing a lot of value to me as a viewer.
I That is the goal. I want actually, you know what? I have an objective slide. So let me just tell you what I want to get out of this
Okay.
presentation, Nick. What I would like is to provide you an executive summary of what you need to know about the Halloween franchise, including a brief history, data points, and then a ranking and discussion. Does that sound good?
That does. And I was actually worried that there wouldn't be enough data, so I feel like my concerns have been alleviated.
Oh, there's some data. There's definitely some data. Okay, let's just go ahead and get right into it then. So I'm going to give you some history and facts. So this franchise began in 1978. It has spanned 44 years, with the latest movie coming out in 2022. Franchise had 9 different directors, including John Carpenter, Rob
Wow.
Zombie, and David Gordon Green. Over the course of the series, Michael has died many times. How many times is up for debate. So at most, you could say he's died 9 times. Conservatively, it's about 5.
What would you say, just for example, in Halloween the original, how many times is he killed?
Ooh. I mean, he should die at the end. Like, he got
Okay.
shot a lot of times at
So
the end.
minimum once, as
Yeah.
many as 3 times.
In the first one?
Yes.
Yeah, I think at least once, but
Okay.
yeah, I could count a couple others. There's some way worse. There's some way worse ones in other movies where he died. He should died a lot more.
Okay.
But also, funny enough, Laurie Strode, famously played by Jamie Lee Curtis, also dies 2 to 3 times. One is off screen. It's a car accident that we don't get to see. Number 2, she's thrown off a building by Michael.
Okay.
And then number 3, I think, is my least favorite example, or my least favorite one, but she gets shot by cops. It's basically like suicide by cop.
Okay.
There's some up for
Which movie
interpretation.
does that happen
Well,
in?
that's in the Rob Zombie ones. We'll get into
Also,
that.
we should say, just for our backgrounds, I have seen the original Halloween
Yeah.
once earlier this week. John has gone encyclopedically through every movie in the franchise, so I'm coming into this pretty cold.
Yeah, and I've seen the original one 3 times. So I'm not like the biggest Halloween super fan, but I'm a fan. And
Yeah.
I should also mention, like, there's like 6-hour Halloween retrospectives on YouTube. This is not going to be that, like, we're not trying. I'm not going full deep. Like, there's plenty of guys out there who have done that. This is something totally different. But the Shot for Cops one, or Shot by Cops one was interesting because like, it's kind of up for interpretation. You do get a shot of her at the end. You don't know if she's in like heaven or hell or in an insane asylum, whatever. But that was the Rob Zombie one, so separate timeline. Speaking of the timelines of this film are so messy that it needed its own slide, and it's going to be the next one. And then I wanted to mention, what's the latest news on this franchise? Has it truly ended? Seems like it for now. Based off my research, there's not a lot of stuff in the works. There's maybe a show, but nothing confirmed. I think maybe that's for the best. And considering the 13th film of this franchise is called Halloween Ends, I'm hoping they leave it at Halloween Ends, but who knows? We'll see. All right, let's get into the timeline. So there's 5 different timelines. I layered in the deaths as well. So there's 5 timelines, and I called out some of the key deaths of
Okay.
and Michael. So timeline 1, you have Halloween the original, Halloween 2, which is the same night as the first one, Halloween 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 are supposed to be a trilogy. They're really bad. These are
Wait,
like
so are Halloween 1 and 2 like lit like back to back? Like the second
Yeah.
one starts where the first one ends.
Yep, same
Okay.
night. Yeah, which is always it's always fun. And we'll talk about where that sits in the rankings. I actually,
Okay.
Spoiler, is pretty good. But 4, 5, and 6, not good. Really, really bad. And like universally agreed, this is the worst stretch. Michael for sure dies in Halloween 2. He gets blown up, set on fire. Loomis is also in that fire and survives. It makes 0 sense. We'll talk about that more when we get
Okay.
there. But no, also, let me say before I continue, feel free to interject with any questions. I want this
Okay,
presentation
yeah.
to be collaborative. I want this to be us working together on this.
Yes. Okay, so I do have a question. So
go
when
ahead.
we're talking about
Sure.
timelines, like I know that this isn't Marvel style, parallel timelines, but for the viewers at home, what do you define? Like, are these like outside of the films? They retcon certain things, or what defines a timeline?
So yeah, taking place in like the same universe, or like like they'll totally rewrite where things happen. So like Laurie, for example, Laurie is dead in one of the timelines and then is alive in another one. So like if you split it like this, yeah, they're totally rewriting things. So like timeline one, like that, all those movies, that's where Laurie dies. So and she's in Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, then she's dead by Halloween 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
But then the timeline number 2, Halloween 1, Halloween 2, she's alive in H2O. She faked her death. They rewrite it so she faked her death. But 4, 5, and 6 don't exist in that timeline. So that's kind of how it works.
Got it.
Did that answer your question?
I mean, yes. It's sort of a mess, but I think that's part of the charm of this series in a way.
It's completely a mess, and that's part of the charm of this. Yes, absolutely part of the charm. So timeline 2 is Halloween 1 again, Halloween 2 again, H2O, which you think means water. No, it means Halloween 20 years later.
Just really confusing.
Very confusing.
Naming. Extremely confusing branding.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not scary sounding at all.
No, it's not. And it comes out in 1998, 20 years from 1978. And then Resurrection is in that timeline. So interesting little tidbit here. So in H2O, spoiler alert, obviously there's going to be a ton of spoilers in here, but I think, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Michael gets decapitated in H2O. They pull the craziest rewrite in film history and for Resurrection. Insane. And spoiler alert, hint, it's not even Resurrection. Like it's the craziest rewrite possible, and it's not the fact that they're resurrecting him. It's even worse than that. But then he gets brought back electrocuted in Resurrection, so you can count both those deaths as well. We'll get into that though. I'm gonna leave you wanting more. Like I know now you want to know, how do they do that? How do they bring him back? We'll talk about it. Don't you worry. Timeline 3, Halloween, this first one, so 1978. Then jumps to Halloween 2018. So the remake in 2018, the David Gordon Green, doesn't recognize any of these other ones. Then Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So that's a trilogy, 2018, it's 2021 and 2022, I believe, and only recognizes the first movie. And we're talking about deaths again. So Michael survives. Michael surviving Halloween 2018 is a stretch. I'm not going to spoil it unless you want me to, because I think that one's actually pretty good and worth watching. It's more technically feasible, I guess, because he gets shot in the face so many times in these movies. So the way he survives in 2018, at least there's a little bit of an explanation. But I don't know how he gets out of Halloween Kills, because he's like facing off with like a giant crowd of people, like 1v50 in the streets of like angry townspeople. And they don't even explain how he gets out of it. They just get right into it in the next one. They just forget that ever happened. They like just cut to black, and then Halloween Ends. It's like that never happened. But in Halloween Ends, he gets thrown in a massive grinder and gets ground up into a pulp. So I think that's fair to count that one as a death, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. Timeline 4, Rob Zombie's Halloween. So Rob Zombie was a big fan. He's obviously famous from House of a Thousand Corpses. You ever seen that one? That's a tough watch. He's known to be very gruesome, graphic, a lot of sexual stuff. So these were tough to watch, and I'll get into the details, some of the details later. But Michael gets shot in the face in number 1, and he gets shot a bunch of times in number 2. So another couple deaths.
So these are just like separate, even though they're called Halloween and Halloween 2. They're like Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, Zombie's Halloween 2. Okay.
Exactly. And Carpenter is kind of mixed on them. I think the reason he didn't like them as much is they try to tell the story of Michael Myers. I'm spoiling a bit of my slides later, but Rob Zombie takes a different approach to them, and we'll see if I liked him or not. There's one I'll give you a hint. There's one I like and one I don't. And then Timeline 5, if you want to count it, is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Obviously, it counts in the Halloween universe. It's an abandoned anthology series. No Michael Myers. The first film exists in this movie, so there's kids in this movie watching Halloween on TV.
That's
and there's things in this movie that get referenced in future films, but it really is on its own timeline, has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Okay.
So you think you got it now?
I think I understand it. I'm excited to go through the rankings and what we think of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we do that, we got to talk about the masks. So famously, the first mask was a William Shatner mask that they spray painted white and cut out the eye holes. So looks incredible, so scary. Actually, I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Maybe when we get to then, you can tell me a little bit about the mask.
Yes.
Now, famously though, they lost the mask and were never able to recreate like the same kind of feel of that first one. Every other mask since then, it probably until the 2018, is like pretty rough. If you look at that, like 1981, the 1988, I think is insane. That might be the thumbnail. It just looks so creepy.
It kind of loses the allure, like, because you really shouldn't see the eyes at all. I feel like is a really core part of the OG Halloween. Like it, like, because he's supposed to be soulless, and there's sort of like a weird. I'm getting into the things ahead, but I hadn't really thought about it until I seeing the slide. I don't think I understood the power of the mask until I've seen less good versions of it. Yeah, but it's almost sort of the situation of it's like, you know, Scooby-Doo, you take off the mask to find out who's the real person. It's almost like with Michael Myers, he is not himself until the mask is on. That is when he is most clearly the soulless killing machine that he truly is. So that's
exactly right.
Yeah. All right, go on.
No, well, and Loomis says it in the first one. He says his eyes, like the black eyes, like dark, you know, soulless eyes or whatever he says. And like, I think you're absolutely right. Being able to see his eyes really takes the allure away. And actually, I forgot. I rewatched the first one last night. That you do see the guy's face, like you see Michael's face for a second, and it's very like nondescript. And I was watching a little documentary feature after that was on the DVD, and they were saying that they tried to find the most like basic nondescript looking guy ever to like play Michael for that 1 second, because he's really supposed to be just kind of this shape, this kind of faceless guy.
Do you have a least favorite and a favorite mask that are not the OG?
Yeah, I think my favorite that's not the OG is 2021. The Halloween Kills mask. He gets like blown up in a fire and it's like kind of charred and burned. I think it looks pretty sick. I think my least favorite is 1989. That one is rough. Yeah, and you can even see it in that picture.
The Mark Zuckerberg mask that one's a little tough.
Yeah, that's.
I think 2002. It just doesn't look. It doesn't look scary for the right reasons at all. Like it looks like weird.
He's trimming his eyebrows. He's tweezing too much, probably.
Literally, no. I was gonna say it looks like it's like high fashion, like model killer kind of thing, more than soulless, unknowable killing machine.
Yeah, I think you're right. What about you? Just looking at this at a quick glance, favorite and least favorite?
I think 2002 is my least favorite because I just think it misses the point entirely. Like there's too much humanity to it. Everything else just looks like a mannequin. That's looks fair. Sort of like a person. I think of the other ones, like the more recent ones, like they just kind of have the Hollywood upgrade that recent horror has gotten. So I think they look good, so I'm not going to count those. I actually think 98 sort of works in a way. Yeah,
98 does work.
It's a little Dark Knight jokery, but I still fuck with it. So
yeah, that's a good call. I like that. All right, let's get into the approach. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a 13-1 ranking. We're gonna give you some stats, not a ton of stats. Okay. Actually, less stats than I did in LEP. I think I had more stats in LEP. At the LEP retrospective.
And just to reiterate, I've had literally zero input into this whole thing. I've only seen one movie, so I also don't know.
Are you absolving
the ranking? No, I'm saying.
Are you absolving yourself of what's to come?
I'm along for the ride. Okay, I am along for the ride.
Are you putting a disclaimer on? Nick had no part of this treasure. No, okay, stats. I'm going to give you some key call-outs. Like, I'm not going to go into too into depth. I'll be able to field some questions, but I'm not going to go too in depth. But I'll give you some key stuff from each film, and then at the end we're going to discuss Halloween from 1978. And then I do have one slide and some metrics and comparisons like other horror franchises. That's kind of an appendix slide. We'll see if we get there. It is in there. All right, so let's start. At number 13, I'm going with Halloween Ends, the 2022 most recent film. It's got a Letterboxd average of 2.1, viewed by 366K. I gave it a 1 star. This is a slightly controversial pick, I'll be honest. Most folks would consider the next one that I have in this ranking much, much worse. Just to give you the gist of it. So Corey, that's who you're seeing in the bottom right here. He accidentally kills a child. He opens the door too strong, and the child falls off like a balcony in his parents' home while he's babysitting for him and dies. He's like kind of outcast of the town. Like everybody like is like, oh, he's the guy who killed the child. Then he like he comes across Michael in like a sewer. Michael touches him, infects him, and then he teams up with Michael to start just killing folks. It's a way too much Corey, especially for like Halloween Ends. It's just a lot of Corey stuff and not a lot of Michael stuff.
This should be Michael's movie.
This should be Michael's movie, especially if he's going to get ground up into a pulp at the end. But it's just like Corey's movie, and I don't care about Corey. I hate the story. People will defend it and say, hey, they had to go in a different direction. Like there's this the 13th movie, like it's gonna get tired. But like, no, not for the last one. Like, I'm sorry, not if you're making a trilogy and you're rebooting it, and this is gonna be the final. I don't agree with that. I actually think Halloween from 2018 should have been the last one. To force this into a trilogy, anyways, especially when it ends like this, is just annoying to me. And I think it deserves to be last because it's a giant budget with modern technology, and it's just a terrible, terrible movie. So that's where I'm putting it.
Okay.
All right, let's keep moving. Number 12, Halloween Resurrection.
Not what I guessed, by the way, but keep going.
What you didn't think this was gonna be second?
No, I'll tell you when I get to the one that I would have thought would have been worst.
Okay, all right. So the Letterboxd average is 1.6, viewed by 130K. I think this might be the lowest viewed one. I give it a 1.5. Let me give you the plot on this one because it's tough. So there's a reality web series that Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes, if you see them in the bottom right corner, are running and trying to profit from, where they get a bunch of high schools or college students into Michael Myers' house to look around for clues to why Michael Myers went bad. That's it. So they put a bunch of cameras on him, like head cams, and all around Michael Myers' house, and it's like, let's look for clues to why he became who he became.
There was a real moment where horror movie was trying to be trendy, and we got Lep in the Hood, and we got like hip hop horror just did not hit the mark. It was so obviously a cash grab. Like, these are two flavors that both fantastic, should not touch each other with a 10-foot pole.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, look at this second bullet too. Like, it's I would say it's not as boring as other ones, but it's so poorly structured. There's a random freshman who is like, he's friends with the final girl on like AIM chat or something, kind of to your point of like they're trying to be trendy and with it of what was going on in 2002. And he's just catfishing her, pretending he's like a senior and he's like a freshman and she's like the hot senior, whatever. He plays the most integral part in the story. He's like texting her, like chatting or warning her, like, Michael's around the corner, like, get away. And there's no payoff. They never meet. There's no like resolution. It's just like that. And like he's at a party and they're all watching live her get attacked by Michael, and he's pinging her, and like the party starts to gather around him, like, oh, save her. And she's like, oh, look, and she's like, her and Buster, like the last two, and like he's like keeping them alive from his like where he has to press the phone 3 times to get one letter. I'm like, dude, this is so
he's texting? Like old school style?
Yeah, he's like texting old school style with her because she's in the house, but he's using, I don't know, maybe he's using his computer. I can't remember, but it's like a chat room kind of thing that they're trying to play off of. And then we talk about the rewrite. So they rewrite the last movie, bring back Jamie. Oh, no. They rewrite the last movie. They convinced Jamie Lee to do this movie. So after H2O, she was like, that was a perfect finale. We are not doing another one of these movies. And they probably offered her a boatload of money. And she said, okay, fine. But I'm only going to be in it for one scene. So she's in the opening scene. Michael throws her off the roof. That's how she dies that second time.
So she was killed in the movie prior to this. They rewrite it, open the movie by killing her.
No, so the movie prior to this, Michael dies.
Okay.
100% dies. And this is probably a good time to tell you. So at the end of this movie, Michael and her have this big standoff in the house, and then he's getting put in a body bag and brought into gonna be brought to the hospital. And she's like, no, I've played this game too many times. I'm taking matters in my own hands. Jamie Lee goes in, grabs Michael's body, like hijacks the car or whatever with the body in it. She starts driving it on her own, like through the streets or through like a winding, like hilly road. She like accidentally like swerves off the road. Michael starts like waking up in the background. They fly down the hill. Michael like flies out of the car, gets pinned between a tree. She takes like an axe and decapitates him. And you're like, okay, that is the end of this franchise. Mm-hmm. She just decapitated Michael. It is over. But like right before that, they have like a moment, like he's reaching out to her, but he's not saying anything, and the mask is still on. He's like, and like they like touch hands, and then like she decapitates him. Perfect ending. It's all over. Great. In this movie, they start with a legendary rewrite where what actually happened was the doctors who were coming to put Michael away, Michael comes out of the body bag, chokes the guy, puts the paramedic in the body bag, puts the mask on him. So then you're probably wondering, oh, so when like Laurie like but why didn't the guy just speak up when like Laurie's about to kill him and thinks that it's Michael and it's actually just like some innocent paramedic? Because his throat was crushed from the choke that he couldn't speak. So the guy reaching for her in the mask was actually just some innocent paramedic who Laurie chops his head off and then gets put in the sanitarium. And Michael breaks into the sanitarium and throws her off the building. That's how
this is wrong.
started.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable.
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. So yeah, like they rewrite the last movie, kill Jamie Lee immediately. Honestly, would have liked it better if Michael was just resurrected by mystical forces. Also, it's called Halloween Resurrection, but it's not resurrection. He like body switched, or like I don't know. It's just the old switcheroo. Michael got him again. You know, like it's like crazy. So yeah, why not bring mystical forces into play? I mean, we got enough mystic stuff going on. So
there's something. Sorry. There's something so
ahead.
Interesting about Michael. This is separate from Resurrection, but like more so what I've seen of him in the first movie, at least. So I don't know if this changes. Tell me if it's not like this the rest of the movies. But it's so odd because like he's supposed to be sort of this like unfeeling killing machine, but he's not unthinking. Like it's set up like he's constantly stalking his prey. And he's doing little things that sometimes feel like they're going to be like, okay, so he's doing this. He's going to lock this door. So they go there because he's going to kill them in that room. And then he just won't kill them in that room. Like he's like pulling little strings and making like the moment, like the trap is ready. It's all set. And then he's just like, nah, I'm going to do it later. I just want to keep like watching them. And it's a little confusing. And then there's moments like that. I mean, obviously that's like a rewrite essentially to like have another movie. Yeah. But it's like, he's an odd character because he's on his surface kind of like an unthinking, unfeeling killing machine, but then in the movies he kind of doesn't always kill when he has the chance to.
Yeah, he's pretty tricky. He's pretty tricky.
Is that consistent through it? Like his motivation is very unclear because of that.
It is. That is true. He's also one of the silliest mass murders we've ever seen. Like the ghost kill, you know? Like he's like, you know, what if I just put a sheet over my head and put the guy's glasses on and like trick her that way? Like he's just like throwing stuff in there where you're like, yeah, is this like he's probably putting a little bit of thought into this.
Oh,
and you
can
think
I
he'd
ask,
be like, yeah, go ahead.
Is in this movie, I'll say Resurrection specifically, is sex a like trigger for him to kill? In the way that it is, and does that continue throughout most of the movie? Like it is sexual. He will kill if he sees this.
Yeah, pretty much all of these movies. And actually, this movie, the first Halloween, started the like I'll be right back. When the boyfriend or whatever gets killed and like pinned up against the wall, you know, that I think that was one of the first instances of the like going like they invented that, and then every horror movie copied it of like then he doesn't come back, obviously, you know.
Got it.
But yeah, sex is always like. It's always part of these movies, and the couple having sex is always getting killed first, kind of thing. I don't know if that's always true, but it's like there was a sex scene in this one, and like they're on video broadcasting to the world. You know, that's like the whole plot, and like two of the contestants for this contest like somehow have sex. You know, on video. It's like, yeah. But I think that what's funny about this is, and the whole rewrite is like they've just like ignored other movies and all these other situations, but for this one they're like, let's make this explanation airtight, you know, like Michael switched the body and like all like he went through this elaborate.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's like all the other ones they're like, just don't even fucking acknowledge it, we're not gonna give a shit. This is the one we're like really specific.
Yeah, before it's like, oh, Laurie, she's dead, you know what, she faked her death. But this one they're like, no, we're gonna have to explain everything. Also, yeah, this was not a great one to test my new DVD player on. It's probably the lowest quality movie I've ever seen. Like, it is just bad quality. It's like out of focus, like bad ADR where you're just like watching like someone's mouth completely not moving. There's like an annoying electrical buzz when Tyra Banks is in like some like control room where I'm like, dude, this is just like the worst equipment ever. Like, what is going on? But for some reason I can't rank it last. I think I kind of like the idea of it. Like it is pretty crazy, but it's like kind of fun. It's executed horribly. Busta Rhymes is awesome. He's like he watches like kung fu movies. So when he faces off with Michael, he's doing like karate, which is amazing. It's so dumb, but it's so unique, and it's number 12. All right. Number 11, Halloween 6. Well, in parentheses 6. This one's just called Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. There's a theatrical cut called The Curse of Mike Myers, then the producer's cut, which is called Halloween 6. It was a Letterboxd average of 2, viewed by 124K, so maybe this is actually the lowest. I give it a 1.5. So apparently the producer's cut is much better. This one is where it's part of the trilogy. It's like the Thorn trilogy or something. So number 4, 5, and 6. This one was supposed to explain the mythology. Michael's got this symbol tattooed on his wrist, and there's this secret society that like made him evil and had to like sacrifice him as a child and all this stuff. There's this like mysterious guy called the Man in Black in the 5th movie who just like shows up, frees Michael, and then they just don't explain anything because they're like setting it up for this 6th one. But it's just like, wait, who's that? Like, who's that guy? Just weird to totally like have nothing else about him. But then they reveal it in this movie, and in the theatrical cut, the guy who they reveal it to be is like barely in the movie. Like he just got introduced in that movie. They're like, this is the Man in Black, Dr. Wynn. I'm like, who's Dr. Wynn? You know, it's like so stupid. But apparently in the producer's cut, they spend much more time on the mythology. Now, Harvey Weinstein like was behind the theatrical cut, did not want to go into the mythology, wanted just like the kills and the slashing. But
come on, Harvey.
I know he really folded on this one. But I was gonna rewatch this honestly, and it was it was $4 on Amazon. I had it on my to-do list. I was gonna do it because I felt like I had to do it, like to watch both cuts to really fairly rank this. I watched a YouTube video instead, which just showed every breakdown, like every single difference. Some of the things were like they used like 90s rock music in the theatrical, and then like the Halloween music in the producer's cut. But then other scenes, it's like really like a lot of like explaining about the mythology. You know what? I couldn't bring myself to do it. They also put this movie on HBO Max, and I'm like, am I really about to pay like $4 for the producer's cut? Like now this movie is even available for free to watch the theatrical cut. All that aside, I didn't get to it. Paul Rudd is in this movie, nice. and he plays Tommy Doyle. So you know the kid who in the first one who she's babysitting for. Paul Rudd is like the grown-up Tommy Doyle.
Oh, is that not her brother in the first movie? She's just babysitting.
Yeah,
that kid?
She's just babysitting for him. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And the only part I liked, it to the point we were just talking about, is like there's this one part where like someone who's about to die is showering, and he stops by. He's like, oh, I forgot a towel. And like Michael hands him a towel before killing him. So I was like, man, that's pretty nice of him. You know?
Awful.
Yeah, but this one's crazy. Also, like that tattoo, like they just totally make it up for these movies. Like he didn't have it in any of the other ones. You know, it's just like, I don't know. It's so silly.
Yeah, they're Irish too, right? Like, isn't that like the part of the Curse of the Thorn?
Yeah.
Is like it's like some pagan cult that allows him to come back, and he's supposed to be killing his bloodline for some reason.
You got it. That's what they tried to explain in this one. It just didn't really land. I also know you're a big Loomis fan. This is the last one that Loomis is in. So Loomis he was in 5 of the first 6. He wasn't in Season of the Witch, but yeah, he stuck it out. He was really carrying the torch before Jamie Lee. She didn't do the 4, 5, and 6 run that he did. He was kind of the last one hanging on.
You know, bless you, Loomis. I hope that paid the mortgage off, brother.
Oh, I hope it did too, because he really kind of starts mailing it in also, which is funny. Like in the first one, he's really good, and by this one, it's just like, dude, this is just getting sad. Apparently, he was like a huge alcoholic, and just I don't know why I threw that in there, but yeah, he had a tough life. Okay. At number 10, Halloween 2. So this is the Rob Zombie, 2009. It's got a Letterboxd average of 2.3, viewed by 142K. I gave it a 2. So I watched the unrated director's cut.
We're in the 2 range now.
Yeah, we're in the 2 range. People really like this one for some reason. Like I was actually blown away on the Letterboxd comments. Like a lot of people giving it like 5 and saying like this is the like it's always odd when you come across a movie that like has been reclaimed or like people really ride for and you're not sure why. It is so boring for the first hour and 15 minutes, and then there's like a scene with Weird Al Yankovic that is like really pretty funny, and that's like from there on it's not so bad. There's a like Mike's dead mother and him dead as a kid kind of like follow him around. He's there's like a white horse. There's a lot of mystic stuff going on. The ending is really bad. It's like a hostage situation where Michael takes like Lori captive, and then they get surrounded, and like she comes out with a knife and like the cops shoot her. And
so Jamie Lee Curtis is back in this.
No, this is just some other girl.
Oh, they just like recast her.
Yeah, they just recast her.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the real thing that's like kind of weird about this movie is Michael just walks around with no mask for like a lot of it. I put a picture of him up in the left. That's Michael.
Crazy.
And he talks as an adult in one scene, which is odd too.
Okay.
Because in all the others he doesn't talk. Now we'll talk a little bit more about the first Rob Zombie one, because there was kind of controversial that like that they give him such a backstory. But I'll save that. For when we get there. But yeah, that's Halloween 2. Also, yeah, this is pretty gory. The unrated theatrical director's cut was pretty rough. Rob Zombie's he's a rough guy. Number 9, Halloween Kills. So Letterboxd average 2.5, viewed by 448. I gave it a 2. It's not a great look for the fire department. Michael takes down like 10 firefighters in the opening scene, and they just
also just dying that we're like 4 movies into this, and it's just like clearly you don't really like Halloween's a franchise that much. Like we're at number 9, and it's still 2 stars. Not a great movie, to be honest.
Well, when I watched Leprechaun, I gave the first movie 1.5, and I was like, I gotta watch the other 7. So yeah, not a great look for the fire department. Okay. There's actually this scene is amazing. If you want to watch one scene, it's like just firemen just keep coming at him with different things. Like one guy comes with a big axe, and Michael just kills him with axe. Another one comes with like a chainsaw, kills him with a chainsaw. Like it's just like one after another, firemen coming up to Michael and just getting slaughtered. 34 people total die in this movie. There are some crazy ones. The mask does look really cool. This is one that I said was probably my favorite mask. Actually, that shot of him in the bottom right is very creepy.
Good mask.
There's a message, quote unquote, in this one that is so dumb. Basically what happens is like there's a guy, another escaped criminal who's like running around, and like the town people are looking for Michael, and they're like, there he is, that's him, even though it's like a short fat guy. So they start like chasing him around, like that's Michael, and like someone, I can't remember who it is. Maybe it's Jamie Lee Curtis or somebody's trying to like save him and be like, no, that's not Michael. Oh no, sorry, it's Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter is trying to like be like, no, that's not Michael. Like don't hurt him. But they drive this like escaped convict to suicide because they're chase him, and finally he just can't take it anymore. He jumps off a building, and like the big message is like, what are we doing? Like we're turning on our own people. It's like, dude, that guy was an escaped criminal. Like, who cares? Like, it makes no sense. But like, the message they're trying to be is like, we're the real monsters. Michael has infected us. It's just, it's insane.
This mob mentality is not okay, everybody.
Exactly.
Also, if any franchise doesn't really deserve to have a message, it's this one too.
Yeah.
There's so much crazy shit going on in the first movie that's just like so out of pocket, and I get that it's influential and it was like very innovative in its time, but there's some crazy bullshit going on.
Oh, I know.
So it's wild to think this ever got to a point that they're trying to be like, you know, I think we all learned something today.
Yeah, I agree. And like this one has some crazy kills. It should be great, but like that message maybe like put it this low because it really is like, look what he's done to us. Like it's so like heavy-handed in a Halloween movie. You know, it's like, come on.
Too much.
Way too much. The ending is crazy. I mentioned it earlier. He just takes on the whole town on the street, and everyone has weapons, and it's like 1v50, but they just cut away, and it's like then never.
So it's like they're about to start fighting, and then it hard cuts to credits.
Yeah, he like starts he starts killing people, and then they just like cut away. And then in the next movie, it's like, hey, what happened with that big battle? Like, did everybody die?
Damn, that's Michael's so whack. That's like a cool thing to see too.
I know. Yeah, I know. All right, next up, number 8, Revenge of Michael Myers. 1989, 2.1, viewed by 135K. I give it a 2. So Michael spends a year away in some guy's basement after he escapes in a mine shaft in the one before. That was kind of weird. I really appreciate Loomis in this one. He's like made Michael his like life mission, you know, but it's like crazy. Like he's like coming into scenes really hot and like on 10 every scene. It's like, dude, you're like freaking people out more than Michael Myers now. It doesn't have like any of like the charm that the other movies have. Like doesn't have the timing, doesn't have the suspense. Mm-hmm. There's some psychic scenes with the little girl who's supposed to be like the new Michael. Like the man in black I mentioned earlier frees Michael at some point, but then just like isn't explained at all. This one was just to set up all like everything to be paid off in the 6th one. It did not. I don't have much else to say about this one. It's pretty bad, but
how did it get number 8?
The other ones are worse.
Okay.
The other ones are much worse. Like this still has Loomis. It still has some good kills. It's just it still feels like a Halloween movie, but it doesn't have like the right mix of stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. But like the one we just talked about before, like I'm actually like more like this is where I start to warm up a little bit. Like what did we have before? Yeah, like I was aggravated coming out of this one. Like I cannot believe that I just watched that. This I'm a little bit more like, all right, like this is right in the middle of the road of like you guys are still chugging along here. I got it. But this next one is, where things get good, I think. So that's just a perfect segue while you asked that last question. Like that's kind of the last one of the ones I don't like. This is Halloween, Rob Zombie's 2007 remake. It's got 2.8 viewed by 236. I gave it a 2.5. yeah, so from here on out down the rankings, like they're enjoyable in some way. Yeah, it's a 2.5, but like it's not a bad watch. Now, unfortunately I did watch the producers or the director's cut of this one. Typo there on producers. There's a scene that is disturbing, completely unnecessary, awful, graphic, everything bad you had possibly say, that like a lot of people really don't like about this film. So ignoring that, I do like Michael being this 6'9" pro wrestler just busting through walls like the Kool-Aid Man. And that's what he's doing. He's just tearing down doors. He's just this massive guy. That is Danny Trejo also, by the way, in the
I was going to ask,
right.
kind of looks like it. I have to ask though. I mean, this being a horror series and a slasher one at that, like with gruesome kills being part of the allure to people that tend to like these types of movies. Like, what is the scene that people like? Is it just that it's ineffective, or is it cross the line?
I'll tell you, it crosses the line. So I'll tell you, in the theatrical cut, Michael escapes, right? And there's a big escape from the prison scene. In the producer's cut, he escapes because one of the guards takes another female inmate into Michael's room and like has sex with her against her will, and Michael breaks out because of that. Like he fights them all, then breaks out of his cell. So they just added this like unnecessary rape scene.
So he's like triggered by seeing sexuality.
Maybe that's what's supposed to be. Yeah, maybe that's what they're trying to imply. But it's just so wrong and graphic, and like it just did not
very upsetting.
Very upsetting, and like it did not make sense to add it in. Like I guess I didn't actually see the theatrical version of this. I guess the way he escapes in that one is better. Like it just it just makes more sense. I don't know, but yeah. So that's the big thing about this one. So yeah, that's why I put in this next comment. Like, yeah, Rob Zombie definitely likes the ladies, or doesn't, depending on how you think about it, because there's like a lot of sex in this. I probably shouldn't have gotten the unrated director's cut, but I heard it was a better version of it. Like if you're trying to rank them, it's the one to watch, other than that one scene. Yeah, I'm upset that this is going to be on my shelf, but yeah, I might have a family someday, and hopefully they don't pull this one down. The backstory is pretty good. There's like 40 minutes of Michael Myers as a young kid. He talks. You get to see like how he became evil. Like he gets bullied. He has his first kill like against a bully. You know, they're trying to make Michael sympathetic though. You know, of like this is why he became this monster, but it works. Like as far as like being entertaining. I do think seeing him young and talking and all that does take some of the legend away. And that was Carpenter's complaint of like he likes the remake, but like he doesn't want so much backstory, you know. And then also Loomis is played by Malcolm McDowell. He's the guy who's like he's Alex in The Clockwork Orange, so the main character. Like why is he in this? Like there's no like it's insane that he's in this. And also Loomis is crazy in this one and the second one. Like he goes on like a book tour exploiting Michael Myers in Halloween 2. It's just crazy. Like Loomis in the Rob Zombie ones is wild.
Are you saying it's crazy that Malcolm McDowell like said yes to this project when it's like the 8th movie in the franchise, or maybe this is like the 10th actually? Yeah,
but I looked at his filmography and I was like, well, yeah, okay. But it's like he's like I thought he was a respected actor. Why is he doing this? You know, like Danny Trejo, I get it. He's in a lot of horror stuff. You know, it's like this makes sense for him.
Yeah, a lot of campy stuff. That's part of the Trejo brand that we love.
Oh, of course. But yeah, Malcolm McDowell. I was like, wait, like is that him?
Kubrick?
Yeah, Kubrick, my guy. Okay, we'll keep moving here. Making good time. 38 minutes actually. No, I'm talking a lot about Halloween. Here we go. This is what you've been waiting for. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. She's got a 2.8, viewed by 216. I gave it a 3. I do like it. It's not a Halloween movie. It's kind of a middle-of-the-road John Carpenter movie about some creepy masks and big corporations. And you know I like Carpenter. So I like how they've like kept it as part of the Halloween universe. Like in Halloween 2018, you see kids walking around with those 3 masks. And basically the premise is like there's an Irish toy maker. They're planning this mass murder on Halloween night. They put microchips in these masks. And then when the song comes on the TV, the kids like faces melt and turn into insects. That's what's happening in this little screenshot there.
Do they become a monster or does it just kill them?
It kills them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I get like probably not wanting to rank this one without a movie without Michael Myers this high, but I think it's a fair place to put it. Some people put it even higher. Like some people love this movie and they like ride by this movie and it's like this cult classic. I respect what they're trying to do. And really only Halloween 4 and H2O, I think, were decent follow-ups to the original. And that was Carpenter's thing, is he actually like produced this one, and he was like, we cannot just keep making Michael Myers stories. We're going to run this into the ground. What if we did like an anthology series where like a different spooky thing happens each Halloween? And like, this would be my like story for this year. Then next year we'll do something totally like, it's just very John Carpenter. It's like what he basically did with his films anyways. This bombed. And then of course in the fourth one, they bring back Michael Myers and the rest is history, you know?
Well, also, I guess it makes sense in a world where there aren't 13 of these movies and you've only made two, and the second one feels like he really definitively died. Then it's like, okay, well, like the anthology thing, I can sort of see the idea. Not really thinking about it through that lens, I had expected this to be last in the ranking, just because reading through the story of it sounded so fucking bizarre, of like businessmen and like weird talismans and microchips all being together. Okay, but I don't know, even seeing the screenshots, it's kind of a little bit Twilight Zone-esque.
It is.
Is kind of the vibe that I'm getting.
It's very much like a John Carpenter 70s, 80s movie. I've seen all of them, all of his movies, and like so I liked it because of that. But like when we were getting going, I was like, oh, there's no Michael in this. Got it. Okay, now I see why this is like the black sheep of the family. But I also respect what he's trying to do, man. Like these franchises get pummeled into the ground, and he knew, you know, he saw the writing on the wall with what they wanted to do to his boy. So he was trying his best, but it just bombed, and they went a different direction.
Tough.
Yeah, real tough. Okay, number 5, Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, 1988, 2.8 average, viewed by 169. I give it a 3. This is the one the rewatchables did, which is interesting. I don't know why they did this one, but I think the funniest thing is Loomis survives that fire from Halloween number 2 somehow.
Does he have like horrible burn scars the entire movie?
He's got burns on his face, but the makeup's so bad that they just move around his face the whole movie. You gotta look at pictures of it. It's actually so funny.
Awesome.
The makeup is so bad, and he just has like one little like cut on his face. You know, it's like, dude, he was in a giant explosion. But anyways, Laurie's dead. She died in a car accident off screen. Her daughter, Jamie, is living with foster parents. The evil gets passed to her, whatever. It gets the vibe right. Danielle Harris is the little girl. She kind of went on to be like a scream queen and like, a horror fixture. I think she's really good in it for a little kid. It has a crazy ending that some people like. I'm not so big on the ending, but I do like the rest of it. So that's why it's number 5. It's Halloween 4.
Okay. All
right. We're coming down to it. So Halloween H2O, 20 years later, 1998, 2.8, viewed by 178. I already told you about the ending, so I'll give you some other highlights. I gave it a 3. Jamie Lee Curtis returns. You got Josh Hartnett with a bad haircut. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, skate to the face, first 5 minutes. That's the screenshot you're seeing in the top right. No Loomis. He's dead. He died after the last one, so this is 20 years. Oh, no, sorry. He died after the last
Michael
one.
Myers kill Joseph Gordon-Levitt with an ice skate?
He does.
Yeah, see, that's odd. Like, there is like a weird, like, because it seems like he's supposed to be like just unfeeling. Like, it seems like the knife is his thing. So why is he using like props now?
No,
like, does that not rub you the wrong way, or does that end up becoming really common through the later?
No,
movies?
It becomes common. He starts just using whatever he can get his hands on. So yeah, he uses all kinds of stuff. I actually should have pulled that data of all the different things he killed people with. He kills people with a lot of stuff. But it is kind of funny because Joseph Gordon-Levitt it's really for 5 minutes he's in this movie, but he's walking around with a hockey stick and he's got like a beanie on. He's like a hockey kid. So like Michael picks up on that and like kills him with his own skate. You know, just kind of funny. Anyways, good jumps. But most of them weren't Michael related, surprisingly. I think it's the best story since the original, and probably a good decision to abandon those old plot lines and like the Thorn trilogy. Probably saved the franchise and kept it going. And then, like we already talked about, great ending that was completely ruined in the next one. That's H2O. Number 3, Halloween 2, 1981. Okay. It's got a 3.2 viewed by 315K. I give it a 3. Happens the same night as the first one. Has the same feel. Like it really just feels like a continuation. I'd never have liked hospital settings because they creep me out in general, like even during the daytime, just being in a hospital. But it is good. It has some good scares. I'd put one of them in the top right. Like there's a really great one where Michael like sneaks up on this old couple. You can see him in the back there.
Oh, that's like the opening scene, right? Or like beginning of the movie?
It's early in the movie, yeah. I think it is early in the movie. Um, I think probably before he gets to the hospital. This is also where you find out that Laurie is Michael's sister. This is a incredibly dumb plot line that extends the franchise, and it explains why he like won't give up on chasing her. But yeah, when I found that out, I was like, oh, this is dumb. But
So they never retcon the sibling thing.
They do a couple times actually. So in the 2018 remake, they leave it more ambiguous. They're like, oh, isn't she Michael's sister? Oh, that's just a rumor. But then like it seems like by the end of that trilogy she is. So yeah, no, that's they keep that, and it definitely allows it to be like she at one and H2O she moves to California and Michael follows her there to get her. You know, he's trying to kill his whole family. I guess that's what the bad guys did to him, you know.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, number 2, Halloween 2018.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you really like this one.
This one's great. This is actually the one that I would say you should go check out, even if you only watch the first one and this one. So it's got a 3.2 reviewed by 698K. I gave it a 3.5. There's a ton of homages to the other ones. There's a great scene in the bathroom that I can't remember which one it's an homage to, but it's pretty intense. It's got the kids from the Season of the Witch just kind of as like an Easter egg. I think this is the best you can do with a revival. Like they did this with Scream, and I really like that Scream revival. It's got a new Loomis. This is actually the one point of the movie that I do not like. They got a new Loomis. There's a big twist to them. It's so stupid, so dumb that like this could have been a 4. This is a 4-star with a heart without that. It's also got the bad 2018 dialogue. So a couple things holding it back, but I think is definitely worth checking out. Michael is fire resistant at the end of this movie. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil it. Michael is fire resistant. We all know that. Laurie should know that. Why are we thinking that we can burn him alive? Like he's survived, you know, so many movies to this point. But whatever.
Okay, wait. So is in this one the timeline of it? So is this the one that it goes from OG 1978 to this, right? It skips everything else, but we still do have Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. This is where it skips from the Thorn trilogy, and
that's so crazy that they've set up these movies to be like this.
And this is why it skips the Thorn trilogy, because Jamie's daughter like turns evil and becomes the next Michael and like kills her mom. But then Jamie's daughter is in this movie, and there's like no reference to that, obviously, you know. Okay. So they totally skip by all that. But yeah, this was pretty good. Horror movies, dude, they got so much scary in the 2010s. Like after watching those other ones and watching this one, like this is the scariest of the franchise. I think way scarier than the first one. Like this one was like I was freaked out. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, I was telling my girlfriend this the other day too. Of like, I was like, oh, we could watch the first one together, and she was like, no, I don't like scary movies. And I was like, I think people of our generation, if you haven't seen old scary movies, like we're so like shaken to our core for what they can do now, but. The OG ones are not that scary. Like, there's not even really, like, much blood in it, let alone realistic-looking blood.
I would say the only, like, 70s horror that is still scary today is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, all the other ones are more, like, campy, you know? Like, they're, like, it's, like, Freddy Krueger, or it's this one, or Friday the 13th. Like, that one is genuinely scary and I guess... well, some people would say The Exorcist. I don't think that even The Exorcist. I think it's really just Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, yeah, so that's Halloween number 2. And then we made it. Halloween number 1, 1978, 3.8, viewed by 1.43 million. I gave it a 4.5. Say what you want. It's iconic. There's so much that makes no sense. The headstone in the bed. Michael driving around. He's been incarcerated for 15 years, and then he somehow knows how to drive, even though he went in when he was 6. They bring 2 people to his transfer, you know, for whatever reason, and that
neither of them a cop.
Nope, that doesn't go very well. All that aside, it's an all-time great 70s movie. It's got the suspense, it's got the great performances and some bad performances. Like Laurie's friend is comically bad. But like Laurie is great, Loomis is great. And it spawned one of the great horror franchises of all time. What else can you say? And now I've done a lot of talking. What, Nick, did you think of Halloween?
Okay, I have a lot of thoughts about Halloween. So I want you to respond to this as I go through. I'm not sure what to think of, and this is in no particular order. The amount of like murder double entendres throughout the movie, like he wants to take you out tonight. Speed kills. I'll kill you. Or wait. I'll kill you if this is a joke. And then they have like Here Comes the Reaper is like the song
Right.
they're listening to on the radio.
When he's following him behind. Yeah, when he's following
Yes.
behind him.
And so it's a little interesting. It's like, because it's not fully camp. It isn't. Like, it's definitely, I think, a more serious, like, it's not serious, but I don't know. There's not enough humor to it for me to call it camp, like
Yeah.
intentional or otherwise. But the jokes themselves are very like obviously tongue in cheek. So that's an interesting piece.
Yeah.
This is just a larger point. It's crazy seeing a young Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie because she's only like 19 or 20, and
First movie.
she's really had a pretty big like a renaissance recently of like she's been in like The Bear, and she just had a sequel 20 plus years later for Freaky Friday and all that. So she's been in the news a lot lately, and it blows my mind to see how long she has been in the industry and like a very big part. And obviously she just got an Oscar a couple of years ago for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So
well, and she just hadn't been acting that long. Like, yeah, she's 19, but also like this was her first big movie. She was just the daughter of Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis, and she was under contract with Universal, and they were like, let's throw her in this, and like then just gets launched into superstardom, and she's so good in it, and it's crazy seeing her this young.
She's really excellent. I think she's an actress that I did not give enough credit for probably for a long time. Probably because I knew her for Freaky Friday and random
Right.
like I knew her for the fucking, I think was she like on YoPlay commercials or something, or it was like some
Maybe.
sort of, or it was Activia. I think it was Activia.
Okay, yeah, I remember that now.
And then honestly, I rewatched Freaky Friday a couple weeks ago, and I was like, actually, she's like really fucking good in this for what she's doing. And anyway, so I'm very impressed by Jamie Lee Curtis. But okay, another point here, for it being 1978, everyone in this movie is like surprisingly like liberally open-minded when it comes to referencing Michael early on in the movie. Like when Loomis is driving with the nurse, he's like referring to it as it. And of course, we don't know yet how awful he is and evil, but the nurse is like, yeah, wow, your sense of compassion is really moving, doctor. Like you could refer to him as him instead of it and all this stuff. And there's a couple other times when he's with the sheriff, and at this point he's like a confirmed murderer, and he's in Michael's childhood home, and you don't see it on screen, but there's a dead dog in the room, presumably that
Right.
Michael killed and ate raw.
Right.
And all of this is pretty believable. Loomis hasn't been wrong with anything thus far. And the sheriff is like, a man would never do that. Okay, don't blame this on Michael. And I'm like, why is everyone so fucking protective of this guy? This is so crazy to me. So I thought that was interesting.
And that becomes Loomis's thing in other movies where he's like, this is not a man. This is something else. The shape, he's the devil. He's like, this is not a human being. And no one believes him. Like, it's just a guy. He killed his family. It's like, dude, he survived 9 different deaths. He is not a human.
Okay, one thing I do like about this movie, though, and I love about Loomis, is I love any movie that I think it's going to have an obvious trope, and then it actually doesn't do the stupid thing. And a lot of the times the trope is something stupid. Like, or not the trope, the thing that I take issue with is like, okay, they know there's a murderer on the loose, and someone makes one phone call, and they're like, well, I guess it went to voicemail. Guess I'll just let that one be. It's
Right.
like Loomis calls, and they don't believe him, so he tracks the guy. He goes there. He meets with the police once he gets there. Like, Loomis is actually doing all the right things, which I love to see in a movie, especially a horror movie. So I respect that side. Like, and then at the end, I mean, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here.
It's okay.
Clutch. You cannot teach clutch like this. You know who doesn't have clutch? Fucking Lori. She gets so lucky like 2 or 3 different times, maybe 4 or 5 different times, and just miraculously keeps surviving, never takes advantage of the moment. Loomis, he gets one shot off on the guy. What does he do? He empties the clip in a calm fashion, shoots him 5 more times until the gun is empty and he has fallen off the roof of the house.
Yep.
Clutch. You need to have a Loomis on your side in a horror movie. I mean, he's immediately, I'm just thinking about this now, absolute top tier candidate I would love to have on my team if I have to survive like in a horror movie. Loomis.
Oh,
dog.
absolute
dog.
Loomis is a bro. There is one funny moment with him I noticed last night though, where he's like patrolling. He's like standing outside the house waiting. Then all of a sudden, after like hours, he's like, "Wait, is that the car that Michael stole?" It's like right across the street. I'm like,
clearly he hadn't been driving it. Clearly,
yeah, I'm like, dude, have you not been looking around like at all?
And it's also across the street from the home they've been. Like, it's like, hey, like let's not like scan the street.
But another thing you just reminded me of while you look at your notes is like, there's another crazy rewrite where after Loomis shot him and he falls off the roof, or like maybe after the second one, like There's another thing where like one of the cops is gonna put a bullet in Michael's head and like decides not to, and like blames himself for not taking the shot. Or like there's a cop who was gonna kill Michael and like put an end to this, and he's like no, like, and he like pulls his arm away, and like that cop always like blames himself, you know. So at least like Loomis had like the gall to like take those shots and just empty the clip and be like, I watched this man for 15 years. I know he's capable of like, 6 straight bullets to the chest and head. Do what I had to do.
Killer instinct. He has the killer instinct that you need.
And it's just packing heat. And he's like, also, I got the permit too, you know?
Yeah. The fact that he's just a doctor, like he's just not like a detective or like, no. I mean, we have no awareness that he has that gun until he pulls it out the first time. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There are some. I'll hold my nitpicks for a second because I want to talk about some more things that I do like. Okay. Like I do think there was a moment where like it's a lot of long panning shots, which are interesting and like definitely artistic, and I appreciate them. They're a little slow, I think, for like my 2025 brain, but like I appreciated them. And even in the moment, I understood it was kind of trying to reflect the voyeuristic nature of Michael, both like in the literal sense of he's always watching, but also in the sense that like clearly he has some sort of trigger or like dynamic with sexuality just in general, which is also a part of voyeurism. So I found that even when I was recognizing it, I was like, okay, it's a little slow, but I appreciate the choice. I get what they're trying to get at. But there's somewhere like towards the back third of the movie where like, especially once he starts to like about to start off his kills, where I was like, oh, I kind of see the genius of this. Like it takes a little bit to get into the rhythm, but once you accept it and you see that he's just like, I guess for him, it isn't all about the kill. Part of it is the watching part that he enjoys, that I was like, oh, this movie's kind of genius for what it's kind of a really brave choice for a genre that's always been like a lot of, oh God, what's the term? Not exhibition. What's the film term for like Tarantino does a lot, exploitation is what I was trying. Sorry. But like for a genre that's always been full of exploitation in terms of like sexuality, in terms of gore and violence, I think it's really cool and brave to be like, I'm going to go in a really slow burn approach that matches kind of thematically what I'm going for. So in that way, I can see the influence of it, even if I do have a lot of notes on it.
Well, and this influenced so many things. It's like, and I don't know the full history of the slasher, but this one definitely spawned a lot of, like, this one started, Friday the 13th, and then like the other, like, kind of that slow, methodical, like, killer. And this is obviously inspired by like the Italian giallos and like some of the other, like, you could get into videos about the whole origins of horror and the slasher genre. But like, to be patient, and Carpenter is so patient, and like it just builds that suspense where you don't know, like, you think when that girl goes into the like washroom outside, like she's for sure dying, right? It's just because Michael's like around that house, but like, no, he has the patience to like let that go and then bring it back. Like it's just so great. It just sets up such a great ending, when like all hell breaks loose.
For sure. And actually, I forgot it was in my notes, but the other half of it, right? So like you get used to kind of the pacing, you get used to like the idea of like, this is as much the pleasure of the kill is the stalking for Michael. There's also the flip side of it where like part of the horror isn't just him being there. It's like all these people are doing things that we do every single day. It's like the mundane nature of what they're up to, and that at how many points in your day could you be doing something you do 100 times and not notice someone being there for it is like kind of the flip side of that coin. So I do really like that part of it.
The other thing I was gonna mention is like, because you touched on like the sexual side of it. I think what's supposed to be implied is that like because Judith, was like she was supposed to be taking Michael trick or treating and didn't, and was like distracted with her boyfriend. And like so then he has this thing about like sex, because like even though that's like the quickest sexual encounter probably ever in film history, when like the boyfriend goes up and then like 30 seconds later is leaving, but yeah, that's, I guess, like sets up his kind of like fascination with that, and they get more into that in the Rob Zombie ones too, where like she's supposed to be taking him out trick or treating, and maybe that's only in the Rob Zombie ones, but anyways. I see too many of these movies. They're all meshing together.
Okay, last note that I just want to say, and it also kind of starts to pair well into some of like my nitpicks for it. I do think the ending is also really fucking cool. yes, he gets killed, and there is sort of the question of like, wait, so he's just straight up immortal? Like that was not part of the movie, really, and it's not like really foreshadowed in any
Right.
meaningful way. But the breathing outro, and it's just like cutting between places where these people live, where they
Yep.
inhabit, where they spend their days, and just hearing the breathing, you're like, oh fuck, man, he could be anywhere. I just thought that was a really great ending to the movie. That it like fittingly, it wasn't ambiguous because he got away, but it was still open ended in the feeling of like he could be anywhere, and maybe he's everywhere. We don't really know how he operates. So I love the ending.
Yeah, he's the shape, he's just
Mm-hmm.
he's the boogeyman, right? It's great. Um, cool, man.
Do you want to say anything that you love about it in particular before touching on a couple nitpicks?
No, go ahead and go through the nitpicks. I mean, you hit on a lot of the stuff I like about it, and there's
Okay.
a lot of nitpicks. So go ahead.
All right. I might just rattle some of these off.
Go ahead. Yeah.
As much as it's sick that Loomis followed up, the fact that he had to call in the first place and be like, hey, murderous psychopath from your town
Yeah.
escaped violently from his insane asylum. We know he's on the way. And the cops are just like, yeah, man, I don't know. That just kind of sounds like bogus. Also, it's like a small, sleepy town where they would remember that there was a vicious knife murder from a 6-year-old only 15 years ago. That's not that long ago. So I just think it's hilarious. The cops didn't believe him
Wait,
initially.
and one of the other ones, they're like, Loomis tries to like, get them to he's like, oh, he's on the loose. It's Halloween. He's on the loose, and the town mayor's like, what do you expect? I'm gonna cancel Halloween? Or like, it's like the same kind of thing of like Jaws, where like the mayor won't like. It's like
Is
mayor.
this a big money driving night for you? What the fuck are you
Exactly.
talking about?
Like Mayor Vaughn doesn't want to lose the beachgoers for the 4th of July, but it's like, what revenue is lost from Halloween? The candy's been purchased, dude. Cancel it. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Or just like have some cops like do literally anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be lost here.
He's like, what are you, crazy? It's Halloween night. It's the biggest night in the city.
There's definitely some really rough acting from the best friend and some pretty choppy writing. Like, I hate a guy with a car and no sense of humor. Just like, what do you mean? What?
Yeah.
It's just a wild thing to say.
Yeah.
All the Lindsay is it's a little much. Also, at one point, Michael is just like openly trailing them. Like he's driving maybe 15 feet behind them, middle of the day, in the suburbs for like 20 minutes. Like they would notice her dad is a cop. If anything, even if she's rebellious, she'd be like, my dad's a fucking cop, and she'd just call him to scare him off or something. It's a little crazy.
He's also just behind a bush, and he just like comes in a frame, like stands there for a second, and then just like disappears somehow.
There's something interesting to be said though about the fact that he's not afraid. Like he doesn't even have like social cues. Like he knows that he can't get caught, but like there's something crazy about like he like in the picture in your slide, he's just standing in the fucking laundry. Like he doesn't care if he gets caught. Like there's something especially scary about that.
Oh, and it's funny because they do that in all the other movies too. And like in the Rob Zombie ones, he's 6'9", walking around in this mask on down the street. It's like, who wouldn't be calling the cops in the suburbs right now?
Okay, last couple. I think that the knife kill of the guy who's like, I'll be right back. It is cool. I actually think it's really dope. I love like the one hand pin up because there's moments where you're like, how strong or how big is Michael?
Yeah.
And I think it's cool showing that he's like freakish strong. Like not he doesn't just bench 3 plates. Like this guy is like a fucking freak.
And he admires his work. He like turns his head. He's like looking at it.
Yeah. And I think it's just cool that they drag out that shot a little bit. Like you really have to sit there in the moment with it, which I don't think happens very often in horror. So I think that's cool. But that said, you couldn't just use a knife and have like a grown man hang off of it on the wall. All right, and then really my last and biggest critique of the movie is the sexual like exploitation side of it. Like at this point it's just so old you can't even be mad at it. All I can do is really laugh. But this girl, I think her name's Annie, the best friend in the movie. Mm-hmm. I think she's making popcorn or something, and I guess they say she's like, "Oh, I got butter on myself." I think I was watching. I don't remember really seeing it happen. Yeah. But her just being like, "Well, I'm gonna just strip down to my panties," is so fucking crazy.
And wear a shirt of the guy. Yeah, and wear like the guy whose daughter she's babysitting. Wear like the guy's like work shirt. She's like takes off her shirt, puts on one of his shirts. I'm like, that would be weird if you came home from like and your babysitter's wearing your clothes, you know?
Also, like just a small amount of butter, and she took off her
Yeah.
shirt, bra, and pants. Like it's not like she like had a vat of chili poured over her. She like it's like I couldn't even see what got spilled on her. Why would
Yeah.
you take all that off? So that's a little
Good point.
crazy. I mean, but some of it's like part of the text, right? Like I understand there's sort of that like latent Christian, like Puritan, like if you have sex, if you do bad things happen to you, right? So like some of that's just it's part of what it is, and that's its own discussion. That to me was just like this just literally does not affect what happens in the movie. It's purely just a little gratuitous. And then even crazier is her going into the laundry room and
Getting
literally
stuck.
it's like stuck porn. I could not believe it was in this movie. It blew my mind that she's stuck in the window. Just I don't even have words for it. I don't know. Do you have thought? I have nothing to say.
Yeah, did this start that genre?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Carpenter actually could have made way more money if the internet existed when he was doing his thing.
Yeah, I don't have like the X-rated version of Letterboxd. I know you can do that. You can toggle on like where it has pornography films too. So I'm not as up on that history. But did this spawn the rest of the genre? I don't know. Maybe.
Wow. Well, I mean, I didn't know that existed until just this moment. So, John, you've brought value to me. This
Check
is
it out.
great. I mean, honestly, I don't have too much more to say other than I did enjoy it, and I can appreciate how much it obviously influenced the genre. But I will say, to me, this is like more of like. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to lose my Letterboxd card, but like it's like probably a 3-star movie just because I can only let the knowledge of its innovation and what it did for the genre like bring me so far. I was a little bored. I was a little bored at certain parts. The script is a little rough. The acting's a little rough. And so, yeah, it's a 3 for me.
Well, I watched like The Shining with Jazz on Friday, and like she was in it the whole time. Then we watched this yesterday, and like I was like, yeah, this is not that good.
Oh man, I wanted to ask you, what was Jazz's takeaway with those things? Like, how does she feel?
This movie,
the stripping.
Yeah, she doesn't really care for that, but I think it was just a little slow and boring to her, and which I think is totally fair. I actually kind of forgot how boring it was, like, but like I just like it so much, like, and I like so many of the little moments, and like I like there's a scene where he's hiding behind the hedge, and you can see John Carpenter's cigarette smoke blowing in like the, I like all the little stuff like that.
That's
like
cool.
It's when I first watched it, I gave it like a 4, and it's grown to a 4.5 for me. And actually, I have a couple more slides that we can wrap this up with. They're real quick. So, score comparison.
Also, I'm so sorry. I just want to say also, I had to say the score, incredible. The score, if nothing else, the score is like that's what I should have started with. So,
unbelievable,
incredible.
Unbelievable. Carpenter obviously did it himself, and just iconic, and stays in the franchise through the end, and as it should.
And it's in culture now at this point too. It's embedded.
Absolutely. So I did a quick comparison, like how close is I to the Letterboxd average? Pretty consistent, actually.
It's so fucking funny that you made this.
Yeah, the one I'm highest on is the first one. You can see the little variance heat map here. Awesome, pretty high on the 2018. Lower on ends than other people, and lower on Curse of Michael Myers than other people. But other than that, pretty consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, not too bad.
The fucking variance chart. Unreal.
Yeah, I'll send this deck to you after if you want to take a closer look.
Yes, please.
Horror franchise power rankings. So I've seen some other franchises. I want to keep watching them all and ranking them. Where does this stack up? So I took like the other ones that I've seen. How many movies are there? What was my average score? So Scream is the number 1, but obviously only 6 movies. Alien, number 2. It was a close. It was just off
John,
by
this is the money shot slide. This is what I want to see: is the average ranking of the franchises. This is great.
They're great, man. This is what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to build on this. You know?
Oh, I love this.
Halloween, I'd always heard is one of the best, and honestly was a little let down by. I really enjoyed doing this. It was really fun, even through the end. Like I watched the Rob Zombie ones last, and I was like pumped. Like this is going to be wild. Like like every one was fun to watch in some way. Definitely was enjoyable to go through these, even though I said like they really pick up at this point. But it wasn't like a total drag. But right in the middle here at a 2.5 average, Friday the 13th, 2.3, Leprechaun 1.8. Yeah, Leprechaun is a rough franchise, man. It's just not that good.
It's honestly kind of crazy that it's even on the same slide, but I love that it's there. I feel like it gives it so much more legitimacy. It's like this guy's been reading the tomes. He's been spending some time in the library reading if he's got Leprechaun on here.
Oh, absolutely. I think next I'm going to do A Nightmare on Elm Street too, so we'll add that to the list.
Dope.
And then that's it, man. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for letting me do this. I threw in a couple of my favorites. If you haven't seen these two memes, you gotta watch them. They're pretty classic.
These are awesome. John,
Yeah.
thank you. This is honestly, as much as we were talking about a format today, which is the Halloween franchise, this is a new format for our humble pod. I would actually love if you would accept. I would love to challenge myself to make a version of this. I think the PowerPoint move is so fun.
Oh, please do. Pick anything you want. I would love to have you do the same thing.
This
And I had
is
a lot
excellent.
of fun. I had a ton of fun prepping for it. Thanks for letting me do it. Thanks for sticking around with me. We had a great conversation. Yeah, let's end it on that.
All right. I'm going to say, just wrapping it up here, if anybody asks us to do literally anything in the comments, if there's a comment asking John and I to, murder suicide,
kill ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do it. We're that desperate. So just feel free, world's your oyster. Or if it was about watching a movie, we'd probably prefer that. But
yeah,
just, let us know. Let us know what you're thinking.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick.
All right. John, this was excellent. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good, man.